Hey, we're live on LinkedIn. Hey, Trisha, what's up?
Hey girlfriend, so good to see you as always.
Absolutely. Always nice to see you. Welcome to Smart Impressions. It's a place where we talk every week for about 15 minutes about the best things you can do to make the best impression in your life, for your career, and your future clients. So happy, Trisha, that you're here to join me today. We have a fun topic moving along with how people are perceived and how people connect. We always love to talk about that human connectivity in that digital landscape where we're either becoming more disconnected or looking to connect further, right?
Absolutely. And I guess for anyone new out there, maybe a quick intro. So I'm Trisha Chapman. I'm the managing partner of Impressive CV, where we support all of the job seekers and anyone that's trying to build their personal brand with all of the necessary tools for success.
Absolutely. And Trisha, I love working with you. We've been working together for years already, really helping guide people on how to use platforms like LinkedIn effectively. And that's what we're streaming here live. I'm Rachel from the Biz Advisors. I started a business about over 2 years ago and all about helping people connect and really bridging that gap between sales and marketing, because so much people are reaching out and showing value, but you have another department or salesperson that has to actually close the deal and build that relationship. So there's a big struggle that exists in our industry and in our world today, and we just want to bridge that gap and help people do it more effectively by really showing them how to do it in numerous different ways. And that's me at the Biz Advisors. So happy to be here.
Absolutely. You always bring value to these conversations. And I think communication is one of your important strengths, Rach. I mean, you're always advising how best people can be asking thoughtful questions, advising to be yourself and sharing the challenges and the growth factors that they've got, for their sales strategies.
Yeah, and it's been great working together because there's a little bit of value that both of us share that really come together nicely. And I'm all about collaboration. And I think, in order to grow, you need other people to collaborate. And so Impressive CV has always been an opportunity for us to say, look at it through another lens and see how people are presenting themselves, not just from a branding, placement, but really from a trust and credibility place of where people are being perceived from an outside community that they don't yet know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I'd love to ask you today, pivoting back to communication, the last time we caught up, we really highlighted, how to be showcasing your values. But I wanted to take a deeper dive, if you were able, from a B2B or sales perspective. How can we ensure that we're having our teams deliver authentic communication?
Well, there's no doubt that this is like a challenge for everything. I don't think people learn this. They're not teaching it in school. So by the time you finish all the education and you get out into the real world, and if you are, whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for a partner or you're even looking for a new client, you have to go through the same kind of experiences and emotional connection, which is very psychological, right? To be able to connect with another human being. And how do you get that authentic connection? And so today's show, I really want to talk about, it's all about the crucial role of being transparent. It's being genuine with all your interactions and some of the tips that you can actually, use tomorrow so that you can encompass a better, closer relationship with the new people that you engage with. So for me, I say tip number one, guaranteed transparency. I think one of the worst things people can do when you meet a new person, whether it be a client or anyone, is actually lie.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. You don't know what to say. Someone asks you a question and you may not know the right answer. You may want to tell them something that you think they want to hear, when in most cases it's easier and better to just be transparent with, I'll get back to you with the information. Let me go find it. But just having like clear communication and just being honest up front, I think is so valuable and really an understatement that people tend to forget about.
Yeah, I think you're right. People forget to be themselves. They're really trying their utter best, and then, it comes through. It shows. People can very easily pick up on human emotion. And if you're not yourself, then you're less likely to close a deal than actually acknowledging that you actually don't know the answer, and you happily revert. And I also think expressing gratitude is something that a lot of people, more so in maybe the Middle East, need to focus. And I guess, I mean, I'm being generalized here, but maybe we're not as grateful as what we could be when things aren't going the right way. Appreciative of, thank you so much for the advice or for the opportunity to allow me to be doing this, because it could be a cultural thing that you're not used to, working with people from different backgrounds.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I spoke to a client the other day, and they called me. They were having a challenge. They wanted to call customers to find out feedback of, what they thought of their services. And they were having a really hard time getting people on the phone, right? And there's no doubt this is a big problem. If you're calling people on the phone outbound and they're not expecting your call and you're trying to get information from them, it may be, engaged with a little resistance. So I just gave them one small tip. And along that gratitude line was exactly that. Just share with them really quickly. I'm so happy that you've been a client. I just want to thank you so much for your contribution. I mean, at the end of the day, that gratitude just is like a weight in gold. How good does it feel when someone says thank you? I mean, like for me, I love it, right?
Absolutely. And I love your advice, Rachel. What do you think? Do you think cold calling is out the window, or do you think it's something that's a tool that's not utilized as much as it could be these days?
It's a combination. I feel like it's an opportunity to connect. I love cold calling. One of my first jobs was cold calling. It's not for everybody, but I really love thinking outside of the box and being a little bit more unique when you call. And that's the big challenge, because cold calling, so many people call, hi, how are you? And it's very, it's a little bit too the same. It's, so you really have to think outside of the box and be a little unique. Oh my God, it's fantastic weather outside. I'm headed to the beach. What are you doing today? You think something unique that nobody would really expect. And it kind of gives them a little, a shock. And in that space of shock, you have a moment to kind of put your personality on the phone and make an impact. And so that's the opportunity. You can connect, you can show a part of your personality, and you can become personable and try to connect, with other people. But I have a feeling AI is going to come and take over that entire industry, and where it won't be, humans anymore. And so the ones that do, that are doing it will be a smaller amount of people doing it. But I do think no matter what, no matter all the AI and the tech space that's coming, people will still yearn for that human connection. And so that's what I love to share, and help people connect. And doing it on the phone is definitely one of them. I mean, how much, I know that we've probably all reduced the amount of phone time that we have with our friends and our family these days. But how much is it, how much do you value getting on a phone call with an old friend and really having a conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what sort of sales strategies are you supporting your organizations with now that the fact that maybe cold calling is back in the cool solutions, or what form of AI platforms, or how, what would you be recommending for your clients?
Right now, I'm working with some great automation tools to help free up time, especially on LinkedIn, for outgoing lead generation, right? There is no doubt in my mind, sitting there doing a manual process over and over and over is very monotonous and a complete waste of time. But it is necessary to be able to get to the right people and be able to penetrate that marketing, which on average is saying statistically, marketing, you need a brand to touch someone 14 times minimal for them to even remember your brand. That's a lot. So do you want to spend your time doing it manually, or do you want to automate it? So in order to, I'm suggesting automation is going to open up your time to do more important things, like connect to the customers that you do have or the ones that you're trying to gain. And, I do think during COVID, the cold calling space had a huge decrease, and it really plummeted as far as people picking up the phone. There was a huge decrease because people were working from home and they weren't in the office anymore. So cold calling in office was really hard to reach anybody. And that was the reason for that huge decrease. So that did go down. But I do think that, calling in general is super important. I do think that connecting with your customers, whether they've bought from you before or they've never bought before, is extremely important. And the phone's just one of those those tools. So if you're using the phone, and if you're using digital online platforms, and you're using events to really get a live connection going, those are your three pillars of connectivity that you can really maximize. And that's happening now that we're full effect back into the, post-COVID kind of space. We have a lot of those avenues available to us, and just making sure that people are utilizing those avenues in the most effective way. So if you are cold calling, that you are making sure you're really short, making sure you value other people's time. And that's one of my second tips today, is all about listening and empathy. Because if you go into a cold calling space and you're calling someone, you got to recognize that they may be extremely busy. They may not have any time, right? But if you're able to be sensitive to their needs, and at least throw that out there, pull that, the elephant from the corner, and just say, hey, I know you don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to be really short. I just need 2 minutes of your time. Then you're clear. Then you already understand what their needs are. And then you can kind of set the expectation, and they can meet that expectation just by being transparent and clear with your communication and having empathy to their situation. So I do, like I said, I love helping people connect, whether it be online or on the telephone. And so a lot of my time is spent helping and guiding, and then training salespeople to do it more effectively in that kind of way.
Yeah, I love it. I think as well, it's vital if you say 2 minutes that you actually do adhere to that, because so many people say, oh, I just need 2 minutes of your time, and then end up talking for 7 minutes straight without even breathing. So I think it's, respecting the time, which is what you rightly mentioned.
And there's no doubt that we have first of all, I just want to say a big hi, because there are some people starting to chat, which is really exciting for me, which means that people are coming online. They're loving our conversation. We love to hear from you, love to answer any questions. So we got a hi, Christoph from Romania. Great to see you. And Amar, love your feedback. And thank you so much, Kay. It's great to see you guys online. So keep it coming. And we got one question. So ready for a question?
Ready.
How do we make, let's see, so the question, how do we make the other person believe in your authenticity while you are fully intended to be that?
Ooh, well, I would love to hear your answer, but I guess mine in a nutshell is that would come down to where you're being actively listening, and making sure that you've got the appropriate body language, and that you're present and not using jargon that they don't understand. So you're building the trust with the relative body language, and yeah, I guess that would be it in a nutshell.
And I'm going to bounce on that a little bit more, because consistency is important. You kind of are as good as your last activity, right? Being consistent and being reliable and communicating that regularly, I think, builds that trust, right? It's kind of like that baseline that you continue to build, but that communication is crucial. And so if you can build a reputation where you are always consistent, you are trustworthy, and you are clear, you understand, I think it's pretty challenging to be empathetic without being authentic, right? Because it takes time, and it takes awareness, and it also takes communication. So if, for example, you are in, let's say, I'll go back to my reference of being really busy, and I say, I understand you're really busy. And then all of a sudden I'm talking for longer than those 7 minutes, as you mentioned. Does that really match what I'm saying? No. And I think as humans, we innately understand, is this person not really authentic, or are they? So I hope that answers your question. But, over time, your actions and how you connect and communicate with people are really going to be a huge reflection of your authentic truth and authentic self. And when it comes to sales, you need time to develop these relationships. But with that time, once you get that customer and they trust you, and they believe you, and they want to work with you, they become your biggest advocates, because then they share what your value is to other people in their network, which is by far the best part of marketing, and by far the best way of increasing your sales and revenue. But more importantly, that is a true key to your authenticity, based on that reputation and that length of time that you've committed to build that. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I love it. So respect the boundaries, build rapport, show appreciation, avoid your jargon, and be present in the conversation with your warm body language, I guess would summarize it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to like that actual communication, he says that thank you. So I'm glad we got to answer that one. Good. But when it comes to that communication, it's about the transparency and the honesty, right? Being clear, active listening, empathy, and clearly being just consistent and reliable, because the relationship you make, you want to make one that's trustworthy. And I think any relationship, once you break that trust, or you don't have that authentic, truth, people don't trust you. Yeah. And once you lose that trust, it is nearly impossible to gain it back. It's like once you lose that good customer, or if you burn the bridge, it is almost impossible to get that customer back. And I see that in sales all the time.
Absolutely. Well, I think it has been an amazing discussion. So how can people get a hold of you, and what sort of support services do you offer for all of these amazing people needing sales support?
Cool. Well, we're doing a lot of training. We're really auditing and seeing what people are doing currently to reach out to new customers. And we're really understanding all the missed opportunities that they can take advantage of. And so we're training them of how they can be more effective, what they can say, what questions to ask, really how to qualify an opportunity, and really trying to get them into that sales pipeline so that they can eventually close. But at the end of the day, the closest relationships you have are going to be the best relationships for you and your business. Sales is one of the best careers out there today, and I'm looking forward to helping anyone who needs some assistance and guidance in where their next sales customer is coming from and how to get them on board. So you can get me at thebizadvisors.com. I'm available anytime, experts anytime, to really help in that conversion of those sales customers. And really, I like to say, connect, get out there and connect and find the right people for your business for tomorrow. And I know, Trisha, we can get you on impressivecv.com, right?
You sure can. Absolutely there. Or feel free to touch base on LinkedIn, Trisha Chapman.
Awesome. It's so nice talking to you. I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks, guys, for joining. It's great to see you online, and we look forward to having you next week. Any questions or concerns, feel free to shoot us a message. See you soon. Thanks from us to you, Smart Impressions. Bye-bye.